Good morning and welcome to day 21 of the DCT Digital Detox Challenge. I'm going to sound a little stuffy. I've got a cold at the moment. So I've prepared a template for you to create a covenant. And I'm going to invite you to be creative around this. Sure, you can print it out, you can fill in the details. Um, but you might want to be ritualistic about this. So you might want to go and get yourself a nice piece of parchment paper, for example, maybe an ink pen. Maybe you have um, maybe you have a wax seal or something like that. I mean, if you want to lean in that way creatively, I think it's a good idea. But if not, then the template that I've created for you, I'll put the link in the show notes, works just as well. So we're entering into a divine covenant with technology, and I want to read you a definition of covenant, which I really like, and I've actually put it in our covenant with technology. This is from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs. A contract is a transaction. A covenant is a relationship. A contract is about interests. A covenant is about identity. I think that's really wonderfully summed up. So we're going to regard technology as the other party. And it doesn't matter if we use 10 or 12 different apps, platforms. It's all coming under the same genre, the same entity, which is the other party. That's why we say technology and not an app or a platform. Now, it's really easy for us to, as humans, to over prioritize what we give to technology. We've already talked about the amount of time that we give. We give our attention, we give our focus. I think it's really useful, though, to think about stacking on the other side of those scales as to what the technology companies and individuals have gifted us and what they've already invested in their side of the relationship. So most applications, normally they're usually called the most successful ones unicorns. And that is because they're valued at $1 billion at least. So that the founders, the creators have had to raise billions of dollars, which is no small feat. They then have to invest millions and millions of hours and dollars or whatever currency they work in, hiring talent and managing talent. And if you've ever been a manager and had to manage more than two or three people, you understand how much time it takes, an effort and experience and expertise to build really good teams that work cohesively. So they've done that. And last but not least, let's not forget that they have created innovations that all of us use and take for granted that have enriched our lives and allowed us. I mean, just think about the last pandemic, allowed many of us to stay in touch with our community of people all over the world. And I think that's a significant thing. It's enabled people to work remotely, to have financial freedom, to monetize their gifts and their crafts and their services. And those are things that should be stacked on the other side. That's the investment from this other party. Um, I'm just reading through my notes. So yeah, spend your time on your covenant and feel free not to use this template, by the way. It was just something that I decided to generate because I just think it's useful to have a template or a structure. But what we're doing on our side is we're gifting our life force, we're gifting our doing, our giving, our watching, our focus. And and that's a big deal. That's a pretty big stack as well, because we've already talked about the amount of time and hours over a typical lifetime that people spend in technology. And that's without even thinking about what you do at work, if you're involved in technology at work, which most of us are. So we're going to approach this as omnists. We don't see things black and white. As omnists, we understand that we live in a holographic simulation. This is a world of expression and free will. And we are, for the most part, we observe, allow, or rather, we observe, and allow, like the creator. Now, that doesn't mean we're not tolerant or intolerant of poor behavior and dysfunction. That's not what that means. It just means that we are able to see the bigger picture. And that's why, or rather, that's what safeguards us from being too extreme, from being too radicalized, especially online, which is prone to extreme, impulsive viewpoints and a lot of fake news and propaganda. So we have to be very careful in the technology commons. Um, but as omnists, what I'm going to invite you to contemplate is that when you enter into technology, that you see the commons as an extension of your own ministry, your own field of influence. That if you are going to lean in, that you lean in with your whole heart, and that what you give to this space is your ompresence. You give to this space wisdom, you give love, you give light, you give positive information, you give creativity, you give community participation and support, that you give the gift of encouragement and positive comments and honoring people wherever they are at, and that you contribute to the whole with your core values, with your personality, with your compassion and empathy. And if more of us could bring our full omnism into these spaces, you would very quickly see that the algorithm, which is neutral, which is really only looking for engagement value, would shift to reflect the communities and the streams and the comments that it was seeing reflected. So these are all really positive things to think about. Um, yeah, the echo chamber needn't be a place of radicalization. It can be a resonance, a coherence resonance chamber. So think of it that way. Think of a group or a community or a particular, perhaps you're doing a course and you're with people that you don't really know very well, and you notice a little bit of nitpicking and this, that, and the other. Well, you can occupy that space and become the lightning rods. This is what the nine call us. We are the lightning rods, and we are able to resonate coherence, and that includes within the sphere of technology. So we're going to be there promoting harmony, agreement, and loftier, enlightened thinking. And I want to just put a little note here. There's a lot of fantastical projection and predictions in the New Thought communities that many of us are a part of. Many of us follow certain teachers and way showers that are really quite alarmist and feel like clickbait, or perhaps their platform has been taken by somebody else and they've made very extreme versions in the editing of that person's platform. And I would just say anything that pulls you out of your center, anyone who says definitively, by this date, this is going to happen, doesn't understand omnism. They don't understand the I am, which is a space of continuous allowance. So therefore, nothing is said. Nothing is said. You can't make predictions. So yeah, we want to just be aware of the influence that charismatic teachers who perhaps capitalize on the fear and the confusion and the anxiety that's out there, they capitalize on that to their own profit. We should be really aware and discerning of their energy, not necessarily the flowery words that they use. These archetypes from the Kali Yuga are still resonating. I see it all the time. we still see these Old Testament type prophets ranting and shouting about the end of this world, the end of that system. We flow as omnists, we flow, and this is why we don't anchor in to a position, because we understand that everything is a response from the collective. And our only job is to resonate the light and the truth of Omnism. So today I'm going to share that template with you guys. Click on the link and you'll be able to download that very, very easily. It's a Word document, which means that you can edit, you can copy and paste it. I haven't made a PDF. You can very easily convert it into a PDF. And if you'd prefer a PDF that you can print out and write with pencil, perhaps, so that you can go back and erase it, then do that. Just make it into a PDF and use it that way. So let's get into deep coherence technique. Today, I'm going to turn off the camera. I think it's important that we develop an ability to generate deep coherence technique for ourselves. Now, I will be going through the props. I will be guiding you through a visualization, but I'm going to ask you to close your eyes throughout and to perhaps start to pick up some of the technique tips yourself and practice those on your own and share perhaps where you practice DCT. You can send us a photograph, you could send us a video in. We love that kind of stuff. We've had members talking about doing DCT at the ocean or in the bath or outside in their garden in all weathers. We love to hear things like that. So please share. Okay, so get comfortable. So DCT, deep coherence technique, if you practice it long enough, and we recommend at least 28 days in succession, Monday to Friday, we take the weekends off. You're going to notice some shifts. You're going to notice that, and we're not doctors, but we have received feedback that you will just notice that you become more grounded, more present, more open, more fluid, and are prone to less anxiety because despite what life throws at you, you know that you are anchored into the divine in resonance, which is infinite. So step number 1 is we ground to the earth. So please put your feet on the ground. Now, grounding is a well-known fact, and the soles of your feet are calibrated. They're a technology, and they're calibrated to interact with the electrons in the earth itself. Even if you're standing on a concrete floor, it doesn't matter. So put your feet flat on the ground. What we're going to do is we're going to bring our attention down into the soles of our feet. Bring your attention down to the soles of your feet. Become aware of every part of your feet. Now you are a plug and go. Sorry, you are a plug and play technology. You were designed to anchor into the earth. So this is a very important step. So now I want you to draw your attention to the ground beneath your feet. Pull your attention to the ground beneath your feet. Notice the difference between your feet and the ground beneath your feet. Say to you, this is an illusion. There is no difference. There is no separation. And now what we're going to do is we're going to close that gap and we're going to become one. 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 Very good. Now we're going to notice the root system, the network that spreads out through the earth, down, 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 down through all of the layers, through the dimensions, the second and third and the first, all the way down till it reaches the earth's core herself. And when it reaches the earth's core, you realize that your roots were anchored in there the whole time. You just forgot. I got distracted. Now, anchoring into the Earth's core connects you to all living things. It connects you to your life force itself as a physical human being, your body. Without the Earth, you wouldn't be here. You are infinite spirit, but you inhabit a human Earth body. This is where the Earth holds all of your codes, all of your keys, all of your energy. This is where it comes from. These are the holy womb waters. These nourish and support you. So now we're going to draw some of that energy up in the form of a vibration, a resonance, up through that root system, up, 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 up through all of the layers. And when we reach the ground beneath our feet, remember they're connected, it's one. You're going to be able to pull that resonance and energy up through your feet, up to the top of your head, to the tips of your fingers, all over your body. Now I'm going to count us down from 10 to 0. When I get to around about 5, this energy would have gone as far as your torso, your chest, and your arms and your fingers. But when we get to 0, imagine a capstone over your crown chakra, and that's as high as the resonance has gone. And you're going to notice a very subtle shift of stillness come in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You are deeply relaxed. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Feel that stillness and silence that comes in. That's the Earth's resonance. Step number 1 is complete. Step number 2, we're going to activate the light body. We're going to do that with 5 deep breaths. We're going to breathe in and imagine the light codes coming from the cosmic center, filling our body with illumination. And as you exhale, pulling out anything that does not have your highest good. 5 deep breaths. Very good. Step number 2 is complete. Light body has been activated. Spend a few seconds really connecting to what we've just done. You've grounded. You have raised up the Earth's frequency, and it is now resonating around your body. At the same time, you have infused your light body with light codes from the cosmic center and come into full illumination. These are aspects of your divine technology. So stay present with those 2 things as we move into the 3rd. Step number 3 is we're going to prime our electromagnetic field. It runs arm's length all the way round like an oval egg shape It is there as a sentient field. It is who we are. It is the greater us. It is where we interact with the quantum field and everybody else. It is not empty space. So we want to really understand and get to know and feel in a sensory way this field. So we use our hands and fingers and we move as we are impelled by ourselves. This is not a thinking step. It's a feeling step. And what we're doing is we are receiving information as we move our hands around our electromagnetic field. We're going to become literate in what our electromagnetic field is comprised of. As we've said, it's sentient. And what we want is a strong, cohered electromagnetic field that only allows in what is for our highest good and keeps out what isn't. Very important, especially if you work in a big, busy office with lots of energies, lots of personalities. You want this to be primed before you leave the house. Now, I see this as a shimmering cobalt blue. It's porous because it has to let in information, but it's sentient, like a firewall. It's sentient, and it knows when something comes in that's not meant to be there, and it repels it. Electromagnetic field has been primed. Step number 4, put your hands together, place them in front of your heart. We are now going to unfold. We're now going to connect to the divine in residence. We call this the Om powered. I am that. I am that. I am. And this is a resonance. You can probably feel it in your chest. And what we're doing is we're going to open our hands as though we're opening the petals of a lotus flower, very gently. And when we do so, we notice a golden, brilliant light coming out of the chest area, the heart chakra, beaming out in all directions. What I want you to do is gently guide that light out with your hands so that it is magnified through your primed electromagnetic field. And the 9 call this the unfolding. Let that energy, let that divine presence, Shekinah light, wisdom, higher power, however you see this, highest version of yourself, see that now rising like a rising sun out of your torso, Sun, and like the resurrected sun, Son, for we are a child of God. And it's easy for us to forget that, be distracted. Beautiful. So now bring your hands back together. We're going to go through step number 5, which is go through the vortex. We're going to go through our crown chakra, pineal gland, third eye, enlightened mind. We're going to open up that space. Remember, we are now in a protected, primed electromagnetic field. We have unfolded with divine presence. Therefore, we can receive the light codes from the cosmic center. We can bring those down like a lightning bolt into the heart. And the heart, because of its sacred technology, can expand that out and generate a waveform. I see this as a ripple on a still lake. But that waveform we call deep coherence. This is more than just a nice, peaceful feeling of deep relaxation. This is, in fact, a carrier wave, and it'll continue to work out through your electromagnetic field in all directions throughout your day. And what it does is it just coheres everything in your reality, affecting everybody. So it doesn't magically change the outcome of your day, but it will actually shift how you respond to it. You will flow with deep coherence. Now, when that waveform reaches the ends of your electromagnetic field, wherever you see that boundary, Just let go and let God. Let God take care of the details where that wave fan out to. Just remember that you will continue to generate deep coherence because it's been activated. And this is why we say to you, notice what you notice, because the quantum field is always speaking and listening. May your day be blessed. May your day be blessed. May you be a blessing to everybody that crosses your path. And enjoy the stillness and the silence of the Om presence. That's for you. I will see you again very soon.